Hello, and welcome to my full show review of WWE Saturday Night's main event 38, the 38th one. They actually made reference to a number in the show, which I didn't actually think they would. Not because I think they're against it, I just wasn't sure they were really counting. But yeah, it is the 38th edition of Saturday Night's main event. 25th of January 2025. The show is just finished 10 minutes ago, just less than. So I'm recording my review before I go to bed, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, but whatever, let's get this done. Starting with the opening match, the Women's World Championship match. Nia Jax challenging Rhea Ripley. Okay, I'm going to get this out the way, so that I've said my bit, and we can move on. Rhea Ripley was Rhea Ripleying tonight. Oh my god. Just wow. Anyway, the match. It kicked off with the Lillian Garcia old school microphone, which, by the way, that old school microphone sounded terrible. Was that by design to make it sound old school, or was that just like a bad mic? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Lillian Garcia had like the double mic down and the double old school microphone, and as she was doing the intros, Nia Jax headbutted Rhea Ripley to start the match. This match was decent, but short. Rhea Ripley seems to be a very good opponent for Nia Jax. Like, some people, like Nia Jax, I agree when people say she's vastly improved. However, she's still one of the worst wrestlers on the women's roster, in my opinion. However, when she's got the right opponent, and it's not necessarily dependent on the quality of the opponent, it's more just like a chemistry thing, she's capable of putting on quite a good match, and Rhea Ripley is definitely one of those people. This match was very short, I will say that, and I think, honestly, that's fine in the context of when you're booking Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, or, to be honest, pretty much anyone against Nia Jax. It should probably be a short match to limit Nia Jax's weaknesses being on show, shall we say. So I think that's fine. The problem is with it being the only women's representation on the show, it felt very short, for the fact that everything else on the show was going to revolve around the men. But in a vacuum, this match being short wasn't a problem. It was only a problem within the context of the greater show. Rhea won with the Riptide. This was really good. Was it really good? No, it was pretty good. It was decent. It was a watchable match. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I don't think there's much else to say from beyond that, really. I predicted Rhea to win, so 1 from 1, baby. Good prediction, me. Well done, other me. Thanks, other me. I did botch that joke. Oh well. Next, we saw Alundra Blaze and Mark Henry in the crowd. Hi, Medusa. Don't know if you remember me. She probably does. I was a fairly regular member of Medusa's streaming community at one point, and we had a lot of fun in those streams. I remember distinctly making her absolutely corpse on stream for like a good few minutes at one point. I used to watch when I used to work nights, and she'd be streaming right in the middle of my night shift when the person I was supporting had gone to bed, and there was basically nothing for me to do until morning. But I had to be awake, so bam, Medusa streams. Anyway, don't know why I bothered telling you all that, but obeys the law, why not, eh? Up next was the Intercontinental Championship match, Braun Breaker defending against Sheamus. I put, and I swear to God I wrote this during the entrances, pretty sure I predicted this wrong. Yeah, just something compelled me to predict Sheamus in my predictions video, but I never actually seen, like, even if you watch the predictions video, you can see I just didn't believe it. I even said, like, Braun Breaker's more likely to win, but something's making me want to predict Sheamus, so I did. Apparently this was Sheamus's 10th attempt to win the Intercontinental Championship, which I didn't know, but I know it's an ongoing saga, but I didn't know he does as many shots as 10. I wonder how many of those 10 have been since it became his primary goal as a character, and how many, like, maybe 2 or 3 were just, like, random shots he's had in the past, like, you know, just through circumstance. I don't know. I would love to know. We had Jesse Ventura on commentary for this one. Anyone who's watched one of my old school watch-alongs that's featured Jesse Ventura on commentary will know I'm not a big fan of Jesse Ventura on commentary. I find him one of the most difficult heel color guys to listen to of all time. I love me a heel color commentator. When they're good, Bobby the Brain Heenan immediately springs to mind. Just phenomenally fun to listen to commentate. However, I very rarely enjoy anything by Jesse Ventura on commentary. Like, very, very rarely. Like, over the course of an entire show, he might get a line or two that I'm like, okay, that was actually kind of funny. But a line or two is not worth an entire show, or in this case, an entire match of having to put up with him. The rope break spot, you all know what I mean, from the Brogue Kick, was really good. The way Braun executed it, like, he, like, lethargically lifted his leg onto the rope. Like, usually, it's like 1, 2, and then they shoot for the rope and grab it, or they put the foot on the rope really quickly. And it's like, with that amount of energy, you could probably just have kicked out. This really gave the feeling he could not have kicked out. Like, this was all he was capable of. It was really well executed. Then Jesse Ventura went on and on and on about it for the rest of the match, and the after-match sort of celebration segment, going on about how the referee counted 3. They literally, Jesse said that, he counted 3, he should stick to his decision. Then they showed a replay of the referee counting to 2 and then stopping his count because Bron Breaker's foot was on the ropes. And then Jesse Ventura continued to say the referee counted to 3. I wouldn't mind as much if he was arguing in favour of the heel in this match, but he wasn't. He was playing the heel commentator, and then he was adamant that the face should have won. And just insufferable. Like, please, WWE, I get the nostalgia. I really do. It's Saturday night's main event. Jesse Ventura was involved in, like, the first one 40 years ago. Whatever. I get it. Have him do his stupid little segments with Joe Tessitore, or whatever his name is. Have him do that. I can tolerate a bit of guff with Jesse Ventura in between matches. I can tolerate that. Please stop putting him on commentary. He's awful. He doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't even understand the difference between the referee counting to 2 and counting to 3. Whether that was him trying to do a character bit, I don't know. If it was him trying to do a character bit, he, as a retired wrestling commentator doing a one-off appearance, should not be trying to do a bit that puts the attention on him. And if he wasn't doing a bit, he's an idiot. They're the two options. He was either trying to take attention away from the great Intercontinental title match and the great wrestlers that we had in the ring for old retired wrestling commentator who just can't handle not being the center of attention, or he just simply didn't understand, despite having seen a replay, that the referee's hand did not hit the mat a third time. It was clear as day. It was clear as day first time, whichever you want, without the replay. But then they showed a replay immediately after he said it, as if to say, you're wrong, look. And then he just carried on. And people that double down, maybe this is triggering me more than usual because of certain events in the real world and online at the moment, but people who double down on their opinion when they have been demonstrated, proven false, it does my head in more than most things on this planet, to be honest. It's so annoying because it's like, it's okay to admit you're wrong. It's okay to just be like, oh, I thought he hit them at a third time. My bad. And then just move on. Why do you have to double down? Oh, anyway, right, moving on. I put that the spear finish felt really anticlimactic. The spear itself wasn't very good, wasn't very well executed, but also it was really sudden after that really great near fall. There was basically no build to the actual finish. It was just kind of like, oh, so Breaker gets back up, hits the rope, spear, done. And yeah, that felt really anticlimactic. Not because Breaker won, just because it kind of felt like the middle of the match. Like, oh, maybe not the middle, but it felt like they had another minute or two left in them after. Like, I was genuinely like border. I was probably about 100% sure that was going to be a false finish. Like, I was genuinely surprised when the referee hit the mat a third time and the match was over, because it wasn't even that good a looking spear. So I was like, okay, they kind of didn't hit it that clean because Braun's in trouble, and also because, you know, that allows Sheamus to kick out, and then Braun hit a better one and win potentially. You know, like, it's, I don't know. There was a lot about this match I didn't love. I predicted it wrong. I kind of knew I had. That's not the problem. 1 from 2 on predictions. That's fine. I didn't love the finish. I didn't love Jesse Ventura on commentary. The match itself was good, but marred a bit by those things. Like I say, Jesse Ventura took away from the quality of the match by being on commentary, in my opinion. Maybe other people have different opinions to that. Well, almost certainly. I highly doubt any opinion on professional wrestling is completely unanimous across all wrestling fans. But I think the majority probably would agree with me here that he definitely didn't add to the match, but I think people would agree he took away from it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the show in general, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on Ventura on commentary. Next up was the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Shawn Michaels segment. But first, Ted DiBiase Sr., obviously, Dory Funk Jr., which, wow, I did not expect that name to come up, and Jim Duggan in the crowd. Jim Duggan leading a USA chant like the whole country isn't falling apart. Kevin comes out in a Cody Sucks Egg shirt. Beautiful. I love Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Like, not even an exaggeration. I've been a massive fan since I first discovered him. A bit late to the party, not gonna lie, as Kevin Steen. He came to a UK indie, and all my friends was that knew I was going, or the friends I was going with, and the crowd in attendance was super hyped, and I just genuinely didn't know who the guy was. I bought a shirt that night because I was like, okay, this guy. Then he signed to WWE. He did his stuff in NXT. He moved to main roster and beat John Cena clean, and I was like, I love this so much. Like, and he's so refreshing, especially considering, not now, but for most of his career, in an era where people's motivations made no sense and there was barely any continuity from show to show. Kevin Owens somehow managed to make everything his character does and thinks make sense and makes the B continuity. Kevin Owens and Kevin Steen's lore is fully intact, and it's so refreshing when no one else's is. Kevin Owens is right about things like Cody Rhodes just being so willing to team with Roman Reigns. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. He's right in a lot of senses. Like, yes, he's being booked as like a hypocritical heel and he's doing unjustifiable things to make us see him as the heel. But his core thing that turned him heel, he was kind of right. And that's what I love about him, is whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, his motivations always make sense. Also, he's great in the ring. He's an amazing promo, especially when you consider English isn't even his first language, and he's still one of the best promos in English in the entire world. Like, just outstanding talent, and from all accounts that I've ever heard, a tremendous human being as well. So, you know, nothing but good things to say about Kevin Owens. I put Owens as a very compelling character, but never winning. I will say, I think his compellingness has decreased a bit since he started being a bit more of a cliche heel, insulting hometown sports teams and, you know, all that sort of stuff. When he first turned, he was peak compelling, Kevin Owens. Now he's a bit below that. He's still very, very fun as a character, though. So Shawn Michaels called Kevin Owens jealous, which obviously built up the tension for the way we all knew this segment was going to go. I think I could have predicted this segment. I didn't do it because it wasn't a match. It didn't have a result as such. But I think I could have got myself a freebie prediction point by predicting this. So anyway, they signed the contract after Kevin Owens did a bit of promo work back. Well, they did a bit of promo work back and forth. Kevin Owens refused to sign it at first and wanted to talk instead. Then eventually signed it. Then a referee got both titles, put them on the do for what's it, and got it hoisted up into the rafters. of the arena in San Antonio. The ladder match is going to be in Indianapolis, which is over 1,000 miles away. So they're going to need a really long ladder to be able to pull down those titles. Like, I get it's symbolic, but it's stupid. It's stupid hoisting the titles in an arena where the ladder match isn't about to take place. Because why didn't you just do the thing at the start of the Royal Rumble where you get the titles off them? If you want to make like a segment of that. Like, you could just do the contract signing here. Why do Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes have to appear without the belts for a week when they could just simply appear with the belts for a week? I don't understand the value of it, is what I'm saying. I get there's the visual, the spectacle of hoisting the titles, but would this show have been lacking if they hadn't have done that? If they'd have just done the entire segment without hoisting the titles? Done the entire show exactly the same, but not lifted the titles up? Would we have lost any value on that show? No. It would have been exactly the same quality of show. So, I don't quite know what that was supposed to add. Anywho, they did that. Kevin Owens refused the Shawn Michaels handshake, and then as Shawn was shaking Cody's hand, Owens used it as an opportunity to cheap shot Cody. Then he tried to package pile driver Shawn. Cody made the save. Shawn hit Switching Music. I should have predicted Owens tries to hit Shawn with package pile driver. Cody saves Switching Music. I should have predicted that because easy points. Like, very predictable segment. However, really well executed, I will say. Like, it came off really well. So, no complaints. Like, predictable isn't always a bad thing. You know, it was a predictable story beat, but it was a well-executed story beat. Yeah, no notes except why bother lifting the titles in the wrong arena. Anyway, next match, Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. Literally, I recorded my predictions yesterday, edited my predictions, set it rendering, opened up YouTube to watch something while I waited for it to render, and the first video, the title and thumbnail was something like popular superstar to cost Jacob Fatu. And I was like, so I clicked it, and obviously I wasn't thinking, I was like, oh, who's that? And it turns out the theory was LA Knight. And I was like, I don't think that's the right way to go with this at all. It makes Jacob Fatu look silly. It makes the bloodline looks silly because they're not even outnumbered there. They've got Tamatonga, like, you know, to deal with LA Knight. If anything, it's more likely the other way, right? That Tamatonga interferes and then LA Knight evens up the score. But however they do it, there's no reason for LA Knight to cost Jacob Fatu the match. And I really didn't see how... I can see how it advances the story, but I don't see how it improves Jacob Fatu's standing in the company to lose to Braun Strowman because of LA Knight's interference. Like, you know, it builds to the Jacob Fatu LA Knight match, sure, but you can do that a million ways. You don't have to do that way. So I disagreed with that, but I did worry that, oh yeah, no, I hadn't considered that option, so maybe my prediction's wrong. Anyway, this match was loads of fun, just car crash, you know, two big meaty men slapping meat, you know the drill. Jacob Fatu eventually gets the upper hand, gets Braun down in the corner, and just keeps running hip attack after hip attack after hip attack after hip attack in the corner, until the referee steps in the way, right? And then Jacob Fatu grabs the ref, throws him out the ring, and then the referee disqualifies him, and he loses the match. So I get my prediction wrong because of rubbish refereeing. Because if the referee is concerned for Braun Strowman's safety, because he's not defending himself, he's been hit in the head, like, with 250 pounds or whatever it is of Jacob Fatu over and over and over again, and he's bleeding from the mouth, call the match. Like, I'm talking within kayfabe here. I'm not like, oh my god, was Braun really injured, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, within kayfabe, call the match. Award it to Jacob Fatu by stoppage. What value was there in that match finishing with a... Right, what is the difference in value? Here's my question. What's the difference in value between doing that and then Jacob Fatu getting mad at the ref for stopping him on his rampage, like calling the match, then stepping in the way, and throwing him out the ring, and then doing the whole post-match attack segment. Like, what is the difference, except you just given Jacob Fatu an unnecessary loss? I get they're trying to build Fatu up as, like, this unpredictable, uncontrollable character. I understand that, but at some point, you're then going to have to transition into Jacob Fatu wins a lot if you want to push him a lot and end up with him holding championships and what have you. So suddenly he's then going to have control over that. I think it's much more compelling the way they've been selling Jacob Fatu on commentary, that no, he's not a savage, he is intelligent, he's choosing to behave like this. That's more scary than him just being like an out-of-control savage kind of, 1980s Samoan character. Like, I think it's way more compelling. So portray him that way. Like, don't portray him as dumb and out of control when there was no reason for him to be out of control of that situation. Because, yeah, he doesn't like people stepping to him. He's beating down security on the way into the arena and stuff like that. I get that. He doesn't appreciate people standing up to him. I understand that. But there was just no... He could still have taken the ref out for standing up to him after the stoppage victory. I know it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm not trying to say, oh my god, Jacob Fatu buried, blah, 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 blah. What I am trying to say is, it just felt like an unnecessary loss that could have just as easily and just as impactfully been a win. Without changing anything about the match except when the referee rang the bell. There's a couple of bits about the show where I'm like, you could have changed a very minor detail and it would have changed nothing about the quality of the show, but it would have made more sense. And that bothers me a little bit. Anyway, rant. So yeah, I'm 1 out of 3 on the predictions. Immediately there was a fans, ref you suck chant. You don't get those after brutal stoppage decisions. I'm just saying, I'm not the only one who thought like that, because you don't get them. You get, wow, Jacob Fatu's scary and like brutal and da-da-da, like obviously, not as a chant, but like that's the reaction. Instead of, oh, that decision sucks. And a ref you suck chant. I put incoming LA Knight, no sign of LA Knight, weirdly. Again, talking about people having consistent motivations, LA Knight's had a problem with the bloodline recently. Doesn't come in to make the save here. Why? Why not? I mean, you can explain it away as he's just simply not there. But like, we've had people show up in Saudi Arabia for shows that they're not booked on just to run an interference. If people are that committed to costing their rivals matches, why is LA Knight not committed enough to go and just keep an eye on the bloodline? He's dealing with the bloodline at the moment. The bloodline have a match. Jacob Fatu has a match. Go show up. Go be there. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Jacob Fatu wiped out some security guards. Strowman was, they said bleeding from the mouth, but it was like all over the bottom half of his face. It looked more like it was coming out of his nose, actually. I wonder if like one of the shots did catch him, because it doesn't take an awful lot of impact to give you a nosebleed, like a lot of impact on the nose. And nosebleeds can bleed a lot, especially when you've got like your adrenaline pumping and stuff like that, from maybe doing a professional wrestling match. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know if the blood was planned. I imagine not, but it probably added to the segment just a little bit. I love that brutal Fatu does such a lovely moonsault. He's like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy down some more, and then goes boing boing wee, boing boing wee. Like, it's so impressive and it looks so cool. And it looks even more impactful because of the size of the man doing it. I get all that, but it is so incongruous with the rest of his character, which is so like brutal and savage, and it's just like boing boing wee. He hit 3 moonsaults in the end on Strowman, and there was big Fatu chants. Like, that crowd was loud chanting for Jacob Fatu. They're gonna struggle, no matter how monstrous and evil they book him, to keep that man heel for very long at all. Like, I don't know if the plan is to have Fatu go up against Solo as soon as WrestleMania this year, but you might want to make that the plan, because I don't know if you can keep him heel till WrestleMania. Like, you can keep him heel, but the fans are just going to cheer him anyway, so you might as well not. Then they cut backstage. Gunther was warming up with a resistance band over his hand tied to a locker, doing chops with a resistance band, which I thought was tremendous. I just love that little detail. He specifically works out that motion, like, before going out for a match, so he can hit them harder. Love it. Next, we were showing Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard in the crowd. There was a little Mean Gene shout out on commentary, which was nice. And then we had some Joe and Jesse Guff in the Mean Gene position, which I've never heard them refer to as that before. I wonder if that's a real thing that they've referred to backstage for years, or if that's just like, oh, we've decided we're going to call it that and act like we've done it for years. I don't know. Yeah, then they had a video package where IShowSpeed's going to be at the Royal Rumble, guys, and he's going to stream, and who the hell cares? Like, I don't, like, it's not because it's IShowSpeed. I honestly, I don't watch the guy. I have no opinion on the guy's content. I just know I don't care about celebrities at wrestling events at all. Unless they're getting involved in story, like having a match and stuff like that. Like, when Bad Bunny did it and the match was good, fine, I'm cool with it. Like, I'd still rather that spot went to a wrestler, but I'm cool with that. But just like, oh, look how cool we are, we've got IShowSpeed, like, oh, who cares? Anyway, main event, Jey Uso challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. But this is a very good match, excellent false finish. I genuinely thought that was going to be the finish. I was genuinely shocked. I was like, wait, is Jey Uso winning this? He hit a super kick, a spear, a splash. I looked at the clock as he was going up for the splash, and there was like 2 or 3 minutes left on the show, and this is a TV special. They have to stick to time. This isn't a pay-per-view. This isn't a PLE that's on the network, and they can go as long or short as they want. Like, they had a TV time to fill, and there's still, like, I thought, if he's going to win, yeah, they're going to give him a couple of minutes to celebrate, right? And I genuinely bought it. I genuinely bought that false finish. Even though I predicted Gunther to win, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, I was surprised by it, they got me. And I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate when they get me. Because, I'm not going to say it's not often, because they probably do get me fairly frequently with false finishes and stuff. But in a match such as this, where I was really confident in my prediction, then it's more rare for them to get me. Because obviously, no matter what they do, I'm sort of like, yeah, okay, and Gunther kicks out. But this one, I was like, oh my god, they're actually pulling the trigger. And then they didn't. The finish to this match after that false finish felt really rushed again. Like, I think they pretty much went straight into Jey Uso goes for another spear for some reason instead of going for Gunther's gut. Sticks his head between his legs, gets hit with a powerbomb, rolled through, another powerbomb, pin, 3. So, yeah, a couple of the finishes to the matches felt a bit rushed, again, because they're working to TV time constraints, but trying to have, like, semi-pay-per-view quality matches doesn't always mix that well, like, to be honest. I predicted Gunther to win, I'm sure most of the world predicted Gunther to win, but they still fooled me at one point. But anyway, I finished 2 from 4. Honestly, the Jacob Fatu thing, like, he won, right? You know, like, yeah, he lost by DQ, but he won that fight. So, I'm not going to call it 3 from 4, but I'm not going to argue if you call it 3 from 4. Let's just put it that way. So, thoughts on the show overall? I thought the show felt rushed. It was good, but certain parts of it definitely felt rushed. The one part that didn't feel rushed was the Cody Kevin segment, which I get is an important story beat towards the Royal Rumble, but it could have just been on SmackDown. It really could have. I know they had Shawn Michaels and they were in San Antonio, but it could have just been on SmackDown. That's sort of my thoughts on that. And then the 2 finishes that felt really rushed. Both of those matches could have had an extra 5 minutes, and the women's match could have had an extra 5 minutes. In fact, all of the matches could probably have an extra 5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Cody Kevin segment went at least 20 minutes. So that's my first thought. Second, I hated the mid-match ad breaks. It's not difficult to time the ad breaks around the matches and just let us see uninterrupted matches when it's a special like this. I accept it on weekly TV. It's par for the course. I get it. I don't like it, but when it's a special, Also, I just want to say, because I'm obviously not in America, I don't have NBC. The international version was on YouTube, and while you guys in America were watching ad break, we were listening to this. And that drove me bananas. Like, oh, it was awful. Anyway, yeah, I just feel like on a special like this, they should probably give us uninterrupted matches. Sound off in the comments about why they do the ad breaks where they do. Spoiler alert, I know why they do it. I can still disagree with it. Just because I know someone's motivations doesn't mean I have to agree with their motivations. I think if you're tuning in to watch WWE on a Saturday night, you're gonna watch the whole show, whether the ad break comes in between matches or in the middle of a match. If anything, at one point I was like, should I just go to bed and watch this tomorrow, because like I'm getting really bored of these ad breaks interrupting the matches, and the replay I think doesn't have the ad breaks. So yeah, there'd be like a cut where you'd miss some of the action, but at least there wouldn't be an ad break. So maybe there's other people who think like me. Maybe they actually lost viewers because of it. Who's to say? But overall, the show was good. Certainly some things to improve upon, though, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Apologies if this was really rambly. Like I say, it's now 20 to 4 in the morning. It's pretty late. Maybe I should do my reviews after I've slept. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been EBEZA, you've been amazing, and I will see you next time.